Hallo und herzlich willkommen zu Coffee Break German. Welcome to another live lesson here with me, Mark from Coffee Break German, and we're going to be joined today by Thomas, I believe, because we're going to be doing some grammar work. We're actually going to be looking at the different ways in which you can say I like doing something, because as you know, in German it can be a little tricky to talk about what you like doing because there are different ways of doing so. Jim, I think you get the points this morning for being up early. What time is it for you? Because we are broadcasting here at 10:30 in the morning UK time, and I believe Jim is in the US. So yeah, big points to you, Jim, for being up so early this morning for this live lesson. If you're watching from somewhere in the world, let us know where you're watching. And of course, if you're joining us after the event, watching the replay, you're very welcome too. We have got all of these lessons available after the event. As I said, we will be putting them all on the website. Well, that is indeed dedication, Jim. Well done, thank you. I hope you've got the sound turned down, not too loud this morning. We are celebrating this week. We're springing forward with our language learning because over 4 days we're running 4 workshops, 4 live workshops, where you are getting the chance to practice your language skills and use these varied activities to move a little step forward in your German learning. It's all to give you an experience of what the Coffee Break Club entails. And if you want to go back and watch any of the other lessons that we've already done, then you can visit coffeebreaklanguages.com/springforward. You can't really see that against the screen there, but hopefully you'll be able to find it. There we go, coffeebreaklanguages.com/springforward. So we've done some discovering the world. We did that on Tuesday. We also did some guessing the mystery location on Monday, and yesterday we spent some time testing our translation skills. And every little section, every little bit of learning that we do works. It's always useful to do a little more learning, and by doing that little bit of learning each day, it will help you move forward with your language learning. And as I said, that is exactly what we're trying to promote, in a sense, with the Coffee Break Club. A little bit of learning every day. 5-minute, 10-minute, 15-minute video lesson is perfect for you to help you improve your language skills. As I said, today we're going to be doing some grammar work with Thomas. And just to give you a little bit of a kind of setting and an explanation as to where we came up with the club from, what we wanted to do is create a way in which it was as easy as possible for you to make that ongoing regular progress. And we were thinking, okay, will we make videos and put them on YouTube? And that's one possibility. Of course, we've got lots of content on YouTube. I'll just take that out there. Let me do that. Okay, so we've got lots of content on YouTube, but we also wanted to have, in a sense, a dedicated place where you could go and get the Coffee Break experience, in a sense similar to Netflix or Hulu or Prime Video, somewhere where there's lots of content from the same producers, us, and everything is of high quality and progressive, and you're able to be rest assured that you've got expert teachers and so on. In a sense, it's a little like the fitness apps. So, you know, Apple Fitness Plus, Peloton, these apps where you've got a video lesson, a video session. Perhaps you're doing some kickboxing or some rowing or a 20-minute run or, I don't know, a 30-minute cycle or something like that. And by turning up every day, doing a little bit more exercise, you improve your fitness. And that's exactly what we wanted to do. This is fitness for languagers, language learning, if you like. So we're improving your language fitness and helping you build your confidence, build your range of expression, build your vocabulary. And that is how we came up with the club. It's an on-demand library of video lessons with hundreds of video lessons for you to watch in German, but also in French, Spanish, and Italian, with expert teachers, and the varied activities will help you get a little bit of different types of practice each day. There is a web platform. It's on the Coffee Break TV web platform and also on the Coffee Break TV app. So you're able to download this to your Android or your iOS device, or even on a Roku device or an Apple TV, and watch our videos wherever you want to watch them. So we're going to be watching a video right now, and that video is with Thomas. As I said, we're going to be doing some grammar work on how to say I like in all its methods, in all its different ways. If you've got any questions, then please do post them in the chat as we go through this video. Let's just say hello to a couple of people. We've got Jocelyn joining us in Sydney. Thank you for joining us tonight in Sydney, Jocelyn. And we have got AM joining us aus Geneva, aus Genf. Fantastic. Great to have you here. We're delighted to see you this morning. Okay, let's get on with our lesson. Please post the answers to the questions, or please post your questions in the chat. And also, when it comes to the translation challenges, feel free to post your answers in the chat. We'll look forward to seeing them or any of your questions. Also, los geht's.
Hallo und herzlich willkommen bei Coffee Break German Club. My name is Thomas and today I prepared a grammar video for you. In this video, we're looking at the different way of how you say I like in German. The video is split into 3 sections, with the first section being study, where we explore the general rules about the different ways of how to say I like. Then we have an investigation part where we look at examples using those different ways and explaining a little bit in more detail how they work. And then last, a practice section where we put our used and just learned knowledge into practice and look at some example sentence for you to figure out how to say I like. Okay, bist du bereit? Los geht's! Okay, let's generally look at those 3 ways how to say I like in German in our study section. And we are using one of the first possibilities we're looking at is the word mögen, or if you feel even stronger about something and you want to say I love something, it is lieben. Another possibility is to use the adverb gern oder gerne. And then the last possibility of those 3 is to use the verb gefallen. And I know it seems quite a lot just now to have 3 different ways of saying I like, but it will all become a lot clearer when we actually look at the example sentences and in what examples and in what situations you use what possibility. But before we do that, let's have a look at that first possibility, mögen, lieben. Mögen, lieben is normally used with an object in the accusative case or people. To give you an example in English, it's like saying I like mountains or I like Mickey Mouse. There's also another way you can phrase things and to not make it just about objects or people, and this if you add the word es in German. And that's like saying I like it and then followed by a subordinate clause. So I like it that or I like it when. Okay? Our next example or our next way to say I like was the adverb gern oder gerne. And as already mentioned, it's an adverb, so it's always used in combination with a verb. So it is placed after the verb and placed after the conjugated verb in German. So and as an example, I play the guitar happily. Okay? Our last possibility to say I like is probably the most unfamiliar and unnatural one for English speakers, and it's the verb gefallen. And the reason for that is that the structure is slightly different. So to compare it in English, you would say, to me, the mountains please me, or to me, mountains are pleasing. So the idea behind that is that the mountains are actually the subject of something and they do something. So they're pleasing, and then the person that they please, the person that likes something, is in the dative. So therefore, we need to think a little bit about what cases we use for the thing that we actually like and the person that is liking it. Okay? Apart from that, it's similar to mögen and lieben. You use it with objects and with people. And if there is a slight difference, it's that it's a bit more specific. So you really want to maybe focus on a particular smell or look or some form of sensory input, or on like something very particular, like this jacket or this dog in particular is very pleasing to me. Okay? Last thing, same as we mögen and gefallen, it can also be used with the word it, is in German, and then followed by a subordinate clause. Okay, let's have a look at practical examples of this in our investigation section. Okay, let's look at our very first example here using mögen to express that we like something. Mag italienisches Essen. He likes Italian food. So we have to conjugate our verb here, mögen, it's irregular, mag, and then we have our object, italienisches Essen. While we look at the sentence, let's also see how we could actually make that negative. In this case, we have 2 options. We can use kein to negate. Mag kein italienisches Essen. Or we can use nicht. Mag italienisches Essen nicht. So both cases, he doesn't like Italian food. Okay, so that was an example for mögen. Let's have a look at another example using gern oder gerne. Wir spielen gerne Kartenspiele. We like playing card games. Okay, this case, again, we have the conjugated verb here. We have spielen, and then our gern oder gerne comes right after the verb. Let's also have a look how we would make that sentence negative. Again, we have two options actually. We can say, wir spielen nicht gerne, using nicht again, or we can use and put it in front of the gern, making the whole gern negative. So, wir spielen ungern oder ungerne Kartenspiele. Okay? Let's have a look at our third way how to say I like in German using gefallen. So, mir gefällt deine Jacke or deine Jacke gefällt mir. And if you remember from the study section, we said this one is a little bit more unfamiliar to English native speakers because the mir, the person that likes something is actually in the dative. And that's why we have mir here instead of ich. And then we have deine Jacke in the nominative is the thing that pleases. And as we see in this sentence, we can choose what we put first. Okay, let's have a look at this sentence as well, how to make it negative. So we've covered all three ways of saying I don't like something as well. Mir gefällt deine Jacke nicht. In this case, we actually only have one option, and that is putting nicht at the end of the sentence. Okay, so we've had a quick look at all three options. Now, I mentioned earlier in the study section as well, there's a way for mögen and gefallen to use the little word es to talk about more things in the subordinate clause. So have a look at this example. Sie liebt es, im Regen joggen zu gehen. She loves going for a run in the rain. As I said, this time we used es, so she loves it. And then after comma, we have our subordinate clause. Im Regen joggen zu gehen, this time using an infinitive at the end. Let's have a look at another example to use this construction using es. This time it's a question. Gefällt es dir, wenn du nicht arbeiten musst? So do you like it when you don't have to work? Again, we have the es here. We only start with a gefallen because it's a question. And this time in our subordinate clause, we use wenn. Okay. I think those examples really showed a little bit of how those three ways are used in a practical situation and in what kind of sentences what gefallen, gerne oder mögen is used by German native speakers. Now it's up to you in the practice session to see if you can do the same. Now, let's look at a way to put all our knowledge that we just learned into practice. I have prepared a few English sentences for you to translate into German using any of the three ways that we learned to say I like in German. Quite often there's more than one possibility. So if you have 10 seconds for each sentence, if the first solution is very easy for you, try to figure out another way to say I like here using a different way in German. Okay? So 10 seconds for each sentence. Let's start with the first one. I like the sea. 10 Sekunden. Viel Glück. Sehr gut, großartig. So here we can say, ich mag das Meer using mögen, but we can also use gefallen, and then we just need to remember that we use not ich, but mir, saying das Meer gefällt mir oder mir gefällt das Meer. Okay, let's have another sentence to test our knowledge. She likes to dance. 10 Sekunden, los geht's. Großartig. Okay, the most obvious reason here for a native German speaker would be to use gern oder gerne, because we're using a verb here. So, sie tanzt gern, sie tanzt gerne. However, if you remember, there was also the roundabout way using es and the subordinate clause, so we could say, sie mag es zu tanzen or ihr gefällt es zu tanzen. Both are grammatically correct. However, as I say, like for a native speaker, they would tend to use gern because the verb is used here. Okay, another sentence first for you. You don't like hot temperatures. So this time it's a negative one. Okay, 10 Sekunden, die Zeit läuft. Spitze. Our first option here is again to use mögen because we're talking about an object heiße Temperaturen, hot temperatures. So you can say, du magst keine heißen Temperaturen, using the keine to negate, or you can say, du magst heiße Temperaturen nicht. Okay? Then we also again have the other alternative when you talk about an object using gefallen. So we can also say, heiße Temperaturen gefallen dir nicht. Okay, one last sentence to put your knowledge to the test. They love that we speak German. Okay, 10 Sekunden. Fantastisch. This time we only actually have one option because we said lieben. So we used love, lieben, sie lieben. And then because we don't have an object, we have a subordinate clause here. That we speak German, we need to put in the little es. They love it. To be a little bit more literal. Sie lieben es, dass wir Deutsch sprechen. Okay, we've looked at our study section where we explored the general rules of the 3 ways how to say I like. Then we looked at investigation and picked out some examples, how these things are applied in practical sentences. And then you did your practice and actually used all that knowledge from the first 2 sections to translate some sentences from English into German. Let's just have a quick review again about those 3 different ways and when exactly they are used. So first of all, we had mögen, lieben, which is used with objects or people in the accusative case. And also just remember, you can always have the option to use es, it, and then follow it by a subordinate clause. Our second possibility for I like was to use gern oder gerne, and that is always used in combination with verbs. And then our final way was the gefallen. And again, just remember that the liker, the person, is in the dative, so that's why we have mir oder dir, and that the thing that is pleasing is in the nominative. And similar to mögen und lieben, you can always use es and then follow it by a subordinate clause. Thank you so much for watching this video, and I really hope you enjoyed our method that we used here, our study, investigate, and practice method. And basically you're learning German one sip at a time. My name is Thomas. Happy coffee breaking.
Vielen Dank, Thomas. Thank you very much indeed. So there you have, as Thomas explained, it's our SIP method, study, investigation, practice. We start by studying a topic, and we went through all the different ways in which you can say you like something. And it is a little bit tricky in German because we've got those gern, we've got gefallen, and we've also got mögen or lieben. And especially when we're introducing that es, ich liebe es, zu tanzen and so on, that gets a little more complicated too because it's just a step further away from English. But it's really useful being able to investigate things further and look at more examples, and then of course doing the practice session. And I hope that you have picked up something that you didn't know today, or perhaps reviewed something that you were already familiar with. Let me know in the comments if there was anything new for you today in that video, or indeed if there was something that you did know but perhaps just had forgotten, or you haven't really thought about it much in recent times. One thing I always forget is that you can say gerne or gern, and both work exactly the same way. You can totally choose whichever one you prefer for between the gern and gerne. Now, as I said earlier, this is part of our Coffee Break Club experience, and let me show you the Coffee Break Club website. So this is Coffee Break TV, where the club is hosted. And it's, as I said, it's a little bit like Netflix, where you've got lots and lots of video content, and you can choose any one of these videos to watch at any time, and they are all available as part of your subscription to the club. So if we go into the Coffee Break German videos here, you can see there's a huge selection of videos. We've got dictations, we've got more SIP videos like the one that you've just watched. We've got a coffee break with, where I'm joined by Oliveira in the studio. We've got our discovery videos, Geheimer Café, ein Hamburger im Boot. Interesting, wonder what that is all about. And we also have our vocabulary and translation challenge and reading videos there too. So all of this content, and as you can see, as I scroll down, it just keeps showing more and more videos because we've we've got a huge collection of videos which are part of the club. Now, access to the club is not just for German. With one subscription, you can also access our Italian, Spanish, and French videos in addition to the German videos. It's part of a monthly subscription. So there's a monthly subscription for this, which involves $19.99 per month. So it's $19.99. And this week we're offering a special 30% discount off your first month. So that takes it down to $13.99 this week to try out this for a month. Now you can cancel at any time, but if you prefer, you can also go for a quarterly option. So that's $44.99 per quarter. And again, there's 30% off your first payment. And finally, we've just added an annual option, so you can access all of the videos, the French, German, Spanish and Italian videos in the Coffee Break Club for a payment of $199.99 per year. And again, with 30% off, that brings you down to $140 or $139.99. Now, we sell this in dollars. The platform that we use for the Coffee Break Club is in the US, so we have to sell in dollars. But you should be able to pay with any card from anywhere in the world. And with the card that you're paying with, it should automatically convert into whatever your local currency is. Just double check that your card doesn't involve commission or additional fees for a foreign purchase. Most cards are able to do that now. So we have been doing a survey with our existing club members recently, and here's one comment from one club member. The club makes learning fun. I feel like I'm learning with friends and I feel part of a community. And that's exactly what we're going for with the Coffee Break Club. Here's someone else saying, the Coffee Break method of dedicating just a few minutes a day to language learning instead of big blocks of time has been life-changing and so accessible to me. The Coffee Break TV app helps me get in more learning than I otherwise would. My goal is to use it daily so I can get a good balance between grammar, vocabulary and other fun videos. So that's, again, exactly what we're going for, this idea of being able to change your activity from time to time. Today I fancy doing some vocabulary practice. Tomorrow, I don't know, let's do some more grammar. And the day after that, let's do a translation challenge. And just doing a little bit of learning each day makes such a huge difference. So just a reminder there, the different options, $19.99 a month, or $44.99 a quarter, or $199.99 per year. Now, the other thing I should say is that $44.99 per quarter is going up next week. We had that at $44.99 when we started this promo, but then we introduced our annual fee, so that the quarterly fee is going up to $54.99 after Sunday. So that's when it will be $240 for the year on a monthly basis, $220 for the year on a quarterly basis, and $200 for a year on an annual basis. But of course, until Sunday, you can save 30%. And how do you do that? Well, you head to coffeebreaktv.com and you use the coupon code SPRING30 to get 30% off your first payment, be that monthly, quarterly or yearly. And of course, as I said, you can cancel at any time. Best value, of course, is that third option, $140. That's roughly about £112 in the UK this year. Well, this year at the moment. Okay, that is where we're going to leave it. We've been doing some grammar work today using our SIP method, study, investigation, practice, learning German one SIP at a time. I'd like to say vielen Dank. Thank you to all of you for watching. Thank you, Thomas. Thank you to everyone who's watching in the replay as well. And we hope that you've found this useful. Marta saying thanks for another great lesson. Thank you, Marta. You've learned, I'll just move this over here, you've learned that adding is to the end to the sentence gives you another option for seeing what you like doing. Great stuff. Richard is saying danke, bitte. And yeah, thank you all again. So Richard is also asking, what was the promo code? It is SPRING30. So SPRING30. Use that at the checkout and you'll be able to get 30% off your first month, first quarter or first year. And there is the code there, SPRING30. Jim saying, vielen Dank. Coffee Break German gefällt mir. Vielen Dank, Jim. Maybe go back to bed now, I think, unless you're up and about and enjoying the early morning. Perhaps you could do a little more German learning before you start your day. Thank you all for watching, and we'll be back again soon with more Coffee Break German. For now, we're just going to switch over because we're just getting ready to do a Spanish live on the Coffee Break Languages YouTube channel and over on the Coffee Break Spanish Facebook page. But for now, vielen Dank und bis zum nächsten Mal. Tschüss!